Hi everybody, Llewellyn here with Worn to Whimsy. We're still going on this dresser behind me, and today we're going to be doing the land underneath on the bottom. So it's mostly just dark, kind of shadowy from the sunset it's looking more like a sunset than I thought it would. So it's kind of a sunset scene we're doing, I guess. And we are moving on to our land today. So I'm a little bit lower, I'm down towards the ground, and I kind of just did a basic horizon line here, and we're gonna work down from the horizon line and put in some water and maybe some other things. We are going to be using mainly, let me get my colors out, collard greens, which is like this deep olive green. It's really dark though. And then also aubergine, which is a purple. And here's that one, it's a dark, dark purple. So that's gonna be basically our land. So we're gonna add some water, which I will just be using cotton. If you are following along, cobalt blue, and I'll say the color names as we go too. And what else was I gonna mix in the water? Probably some Dixie Belle blue. So just kind of the reflection of some of our main sky colors going into the water there. And I might add some pinks and blues into the land as well, just to try and break it up and add some interest going on, like maybe far away flowers in a field or something. At least that's what I was thinking they look like. I hope that's what they look like. So I'm gonna lower you down here. I'm gonna be using probably two brushes. One for my darker colors and then one for my lighter colors. Just so they don't get too mixed. The land, the first coat is gonna be pretty straightforward. So I won't need to, it probably won't take too long, and then we'll just wrap it around the side of this dresser. I have the painting right over here, so if I'm looking back, I'm just looking at it for reference. And for my horizon line, I'm trying to get in the little corners here. And I just did some hills off in the distance. And when we come back and work on the sky, I'm gonna put some more sunset colors in here, and then like some cloudies, pinks, and other colors like right here too. So we'll be working on that sky more. It's not complete, but it looks pretty good so far. I like it. And if you feel like you need to, you can always just mist your piece lightly with water. That makes my paint go a little bit. I'm just using that same brush I used yesterday. It is the small oval Dixie Belle brush. Just any brush really for this part, anything that'll get the paint on there nice. I have a lot of fun putting these scenes on here. So all I did was dip a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see the difference. I just dipped a tiny bit into the collard greens. Once they dry, they're both very dark, so they're pretty similar. This part's pretty simple, putting the land in right here, and just make a few little hills. Add in the collard greens underneath. And I'm leaving the center kind of blank right now. That's where I'm gonna put my water in. And for my water, I think I'm gonna start adding that right now. And I'm just using another brush. I just grabbed the larger oval Dixie Belle brush. So any blending brush, or really just anything you have to get that paint on there for this part. And I'm gonna use white. So I went straight into my cotton and I just dipped it lightly in there. And this is my water. So I'm just putting some white right in there. Water come down, and because it's water, it reflects some of the colors from the sky above. So I'm adding in cobalt here. And I always try to leave a little bit of that white just to show that it's still water. And this part doesn't have to be perfect. I tried to make this one a little bit more abstract as it was, just to sort of like an easy lake off in the distance. And now I'm blending in just the tiniest bit of that Dixie Belle blue that I used for the sky. That is mostly what I used right here. So that'll show that it's just the sky reflecting. Maybe blend some in up here. And now we can have our lake come all the way down, or we can leave it right there. Whatever you wanted to do. If you guys try this, like, the best part about these scenes is, you know, if you do it a little bit different and you make it your own, then you have a gorgeous scene anyway. So it doesn't really matter which way they turn out. And if you do end up trying it, send me your photos. I love getting the pictures. I'm still just kind of blending in the blues. And then I think I'll hop back over to my, I'm gonna use the aubergine again. And I just dip it just the tiniest bit on the tip of my brush. I don't need much. And I spray my piece ever so lightly. I don't want it to run, but I do want to let my paint go on there nice and smooth. Sort of blending it in around the edges of this lake. And this is just our first coat. The second coat, I'm gonna go through, I'll probably add some flowers and some other stuff a little bit up close so that you can see it a little bit closer. So I'll add more stuff down at the bottom here. Let me get all the way to the edge on this. And I've mostly been using aubergine, but you can go in with some of the colored greens and sort of show where you may have some green grass happening. And I just blended that in right over the aubergine, and it just added a little bit of depth. So I don't know if you guys can see that on camera. So I'm gonna take this around the other side and show you kind of how I wrap the piece, because this land goes in really quick. And just for now, if I started to do flowers and details, it would just get kind of mushed together. Oh, you know what though? I think I might add in some of the pinks. I almost forgot because I have my little pink cups were shut. So I'm gonna add in Plum Crazy, and this is just in the land. So I added in some Plum Crazy and some Peony, and I just kind of stippled them in there. Let me see. I might just grab a little art brush for that. There we go. And this is just like a buy it at the you know, craft store little tiny art brush. And I'm just gonna add in, I'm spraying it with water slightly, and I'm gonna add in some of those pinks that I had on my, I already did a painting for this project, kind of like an inspiration painting. And I think I'm gonna add them in there while this is still a little bit wet. And it was just to give the land a little bit more dimension. I don't know, I'm hoping you guys can see. I'll bring you in closer in a second here. I dabbed them on almost to make them look maybe like flowers on a field far away, or just having some areas where the land was a little bit different color. There we go. See how it adds, and it's already so dark in here. It's not like a bright, crazy contrast. So it's not super in your face, but it's just enough, I think. Maybe we could add some in the front here, kind of blend it in, and that will end up being where there are flowers anyway. I think I'm gonna add some right over here. And this is Plum Crazy that I'm using. I think that's pretty much what I'm gonna do with the flowers on the front. I'm gonna do some over on this side too, just to even it out. And I liked just throwing some of the color to sort of reflect. I have a ton of fun with these. Yeah, I've done quite a few of them already, so I know I work a little bit fast. I get through it pretty quickly. Plus for these live ones, I do try and do something that I can accomplish, hopefully, in the time that I have. I don't want to get stuck with it half painted. Okay. So for my more detailed pieces, I won't do, if there's taking me a while or if I'm I know it might be a bit of a struggle to get the look that I want. I won't always do everything live. But I don't mind telling you, I change stuff all the time. And I'm just wrapping it right around the corner there. So I'm just following that horizon line and wrapping it right around the corner to this other side. There we go. And I'm going to spray a little bit because mine at the end of this little bottle, it's getting a little heavy. My paint's getting dried out. Because I'll leave these little cans open all the time. So usually I'll just spray a little bit of water inside of my little can on the top to keep it wet as I go along. So on this side, I don't have any water. I haven't really decided exactly what I'm going to do yet, but now that I think about it, I might have more flowers up close and be a little more detailed on the side. And I'll also be painting the other side as well. And I'm just going back and forth again between the aubergine and collard greens, just to give it a little more depth. Collard greens is a little bit lighter, and then the aubergine looks like a shadow. So back and forth, and it'll give you like highlights and lowlights. And just kind of do the legs as I go along. Most of it is going to be that pretty aubergine purple color. I really like doing the canvas first. It gets that idea all set and ready to go. So I'm adding some Plum Crazy in here. I'm just kind of stippling it in. And then maybe blending it a tiny bit. give this side some depth. And I did it right over the top of where my collard greens was, sort of to highlight the collard greens. And it's all still wet over here, so I'm mixing it as I go along. Maybe I'll put some cobalt in there too. I had some cobalt on the original painting. Blend that in there too. And I still have some pink on that brush too. So this will be a really good background for having some flowers coming up closer up to you. I might have to practice those too, because those aren't on the original, so. Maybe I'll add some to the original. I haven't sealed it yet, so who knows. Okay, and I think that's it. I mean, we got that done so quick. Let me go back around to the front and make sure there's not anything I want to add. So you can see the focus of this piece, I'll back you out a little bit, it's definitely going to be the sky and then a bit of the water. We'll come back in tomorrow for the sky, finish up the details on that. And then next after that, we'll come back and we'll do some more of the details around the water and just kind of define it, I think, a little better. Maybe I didn't quite get in here what I wanted to get in here, so we can fix it up a little bit and make it look pretty. And then, so yeah, we've got 3 more days, and then Friday, I'll either do the flowers at the bottom, or if I get to those already, it'll be ready to seal and move on. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.